Here we go. Another one, another video for you fellas. YouTubers out there, Facebookers, and all my fans and people that have been writing in. Mr. Backhand here again. People just call me Jazz, but, you know, people ask me why I'm called Mr. Backhand. Well, I go to a club and some of us are called Mr. Backhand, some of us are called Mr. Smash, some of us are called Mr. Clear, because that's all they do. Got a couple of guys called King of the Net. So it's just a bit of, it's a joke that's gone a bit far. But hey, Mr. Backhand is just fine. And yeah, it's true. I've got, you know, an easy nice backhand. But what makes me different to a lot of people is that I can actually explain to others how it's done. It's easy to do. It's the easiest shot in badminton. And when a lot of you struggle, it's because you don't know what you're doing. I use TRA 7-1. That is a physics term. It's not a badminton term. That's why most badminton coaches have never heard of it, because if they don't understand it from a physics perspective, they're never going to understand what that means. But for coaches, for badminton players, a lot of you have been writing into me as I look at my emails. You're just, there's so many of you that have downloaded already and are happy with what you've seen, and you're now smashing incredibly hard. I got some Japanese guys here. Mr. Hisashi, I saw your smashing before and after. What a difference. Come on, 7-1. You must be hitting around maybe 6.9 once you start getting into the 7s. And I don't know if you'll ever get to an 8. But you certainly have changed dramatically understanding those ratios. So that's certainly got to you. So now you're playing with the inner circle and not the outer circle. So there you go. I've got Mr. Goro, G-O-R-O. Again, your backhand has improved straight away. You watched it on one night. You've gone to club. You've taken the little video there. I saw that. Thank you very much. I received your USB, and I've seen you. And look what's happened straight away. It's instant, isn't it? It looks like you're all from the same club. So I think you've all gone to MrBackhand.com. You've seen it. It's a black page. At the moment, I don't really need to get fancy with the graphics. You just want the video and want the information. $150 US is pretty cheap, and a lot of you seem to be happy with it. I've had no complaints, so it's been a great thing. My Mr. Hataka, again, look at your clearing. Before you were struggling and you were using too much energy. Now you're just you're hitting like Lee Chong Wei. Look at that straight away. Wasn't very hard, was it? The hardest part is actually trying to figure it out. But I've done all that for you. So all you have to do is go and watch that video, which you've done. And yes, I got your email, and well done, congratulations. So who else have we got here from the same club? I hope I'm getting your name. It's Asayo, I-S-A-O, Mr. Asayo. Your backhand has just increased, and you've asked me the question, how do you not hit it out? Okay, I saw the video of you. You're the guy wearing the yellow shirt. And what you're doing in your backhand stroke is when you play your backhand, when you're at the net, you need to hold on to the side of the racket. I've just gone out and we've just gone out and bought this Nano Ray from Yonex. It's a fairly nice racket, but you want to hold on to the side for that shot. But holding on to the side, as you've known, is not the secret. The secret is understanding those ratios and getting that done. Pronating, supernating. The coaches that you've been speaking to, obviously you're frustrated because they keep repeating themselves and they say it just comes with practice. It doesn't come with practice. They're wrong. They're flat out wrong. Just to pronate and supinate and rotate and do all these things is dead wrong. When guys say this, they're just lying to you or they're sabotaging you in some way. You need to understand what ratios are. And that's why you've been doing what these coaches have been doing, and then you've emailed me afterwards. But if you were successful, you wouldn't have needed to email me, and that's why you've done so, and that's why your whole club has done so. And there's about 52 members. You've all put your names down and your emails, and where me and Tony are hard trying to email you all back or get you on Facebook. You can Facebook video me, or you can email me. And so that's been great, but you want to try and turn your racket in a little bit, because what's happening is as you're holding it on the side, if you hold it on one of these angles here, what's going to happen is as you turn to play that shot, you're going to hit it out, because as you're effectively pronating, but you do, but it's not the secret. Okay, that's just the way that your body moves, but it's not what you need to do. I mean, if you pronate without using TRA, you're not going to do anything. So what's happening is that you're hitting out. So what you want to do is you just want to change your angle just about 1 degree, so that the head of the racket literally is facing inside the tram line. So even if you play the shot, it's not going straight down the tram line. It's 1 degree in. So that way you know that the shot's not going to go out the side. But if you face that racket head out, then your your trajectory is aiming outside the line, and that's why you've been hitting a few out. So just change don't change your wrist, don't do anything crazy. Just change the angle a little bit in your grip, and you'll find that your shots will start going in. And it's great that you are all understanding this ratio. It's like a bomb's gone off in your head. We've had so many downloads, and it's been great. I mean, just the amount of people that have written in and saying, hey, this is great, good for you. Some people, I've had some people email me saying, hey, is this a fake, or is this some kind of a scam or a thing? No, it's not. If you think it is, then don't touch it. It's not for you. This is quite seriously for badminton players that want to get better. If you want to stay in the C grade or the D grade, or you're happy with having no power and that sort of thing, then don't download it, don't touch it. But for those who want to increase, like Mr. Fumio, then you're all good. Now, also, Mr. Fumio, you've asked, does the stiffness of a shaft of a racket, does that make any difference? Yes, it does. The stiffer the shaft, the more power you're going to get. It's that simple. So I will do a video on that for you, and actually I might just attach it to the actual downloadable video. That might be an idea. Just as a bonus, I guess. Alright, now also, Mr. Fumio, you guys have all sort of put the challenge to me. What you want to ask is, how far will a racket bend? Until it breaks? Well, the simple answer is, why don't you go out and buy a racket and try it and break it? Now, most of you won't, because you just see that racket and you go, why would we want to break a brand new racket? So here for you today, first time in the world, I've gone out and I bought this. Sorry, Yonex, but we're gonna take this little beauty and we're gonna destroy it right here, right now. So I'm gonna hold this up to the camera and I'm gonna see how much bend it's gonna go until it breaks. So I don't know, Mr. Fumio. I've never actually done this. So for the first time in YouTube history, someone's actually gonna buy a brand new racket and then snap it just for you. Sorry, racket, but you're going to go to a good cause. Mr. Fumio wants to know. So, yeah, a lot of you are saying, why would you want to take a brand new NanoRay and snap it? Well, I don't know. Let's do it. So, I don't know what's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to break. I better put my safety glasses on. I'm going to just hold the frame and try and break it. It's probably going to splinter. It's probably going to crack. I don't know where it's going to crack. It could crack in the head. It could crack here. I have no idea. I've never done this before. So, brand new NanoRay Z-Spree from Yonex. Alright, let's give it a crack. Let's see how far it'll go. Goggles on. Here we go. Which way do you want me to do it, Mr. Fumio? You want me to go this way or this way? I assume you want me to go this way. Right, so, and it's the same. Doesn't matter if I turn it this way or turn it this way. It's the same. So, let's give it a go. Shit, I don't know what's going to happen here. Alright, Mr. Fumio and crew over in Japan, this one's for you. I hope the guys at Yonex aren't cringing. Right, now here we go. Gonna break it. Let's see how much it'll go. Here we go. Okay, I've got a lot of pressure on that. Let's try to hold it up to the camera. I'm gonna try and hold it straight onto the camera. Otherwise, it won't. See if you can hear the sound of it. No sound yet. Here we go, a little bit of sound. Shit, that's taking quite a bit. It's taking a beating. Holy shit and moly. Okay, so that didn't break in the shaft. I'm trying not to shake it too much, but as you can see, it's just gone in the head. I got a bit of paint flake on, but if I crack, that is now just completely just wrecked. But you'll notice that it didn't break in the shaft. Most of the stress broke here. So obviously this is around the head on these 2 points. It's gone right here. No, right here, right on the shaft. See, look, there you go, Mr. Fumio. Right there. The rest of it, if I just turn it slowly and try and hold it to the camera, you can see it. Alright. And it's got what's inside it. It's always nice to know what's inside the badminton racket, isn't it? See if I can sort of twist it off here. So, shit's going everywhere to vacuum this. Okay, so a badminton racket is, hold it up to the camera for you, is essentially hollow. Okay, there you go. Sorry, Yonex, but that was for a good cause. Alright. I don't know if I can actually break the frame. So, I mean the shaft, but that head is also... I can't quite get up to the camera, guys. Sorry about this, but... Alright, let's see if I can... What happens? I can't... See, that is really stiff there now because I'm just pushing on this bit. But I can't even... If I do that, I'm just going to... I need some safety gloves because it's going to splinter like crazy. But there you go. That's how much it would take. So I actually had that bent right round. So you can understand what sort of ratios you're playing with, Mr. Fumio. Now, and this is a... As I said, it's a Yonex NanoRay Z speed, so it's a relatively sort of a average to high racket. I guess I don't know how they sort of market them. It doesn't really, marketing doesn't bother me. But there you go. So brand new NanoRay Z speed. Now it's trashed. But it was an interesting experiment for you. Its paint's just chipped off around the edge. There you go. So most rackets will probably do that. Shit, I've got carbon everywhere. But there you go. So I hope that experiment sort of gives you some indication as to how far a racket will go. And you've got to also remember that I'm also putting stress when I have it. I've got my hand around this part, so the stresses that I'm creating on the bend of it are a little uneven, and I had to try and break it, and I was kind of shaking because I was trying to bend it. So it's not really a fair test because I'm putting more stress on this area by bending it the way that I am. But I mean, what am I going to do? I'm sitting in my studio. So, but if you were to put it over like a die or a mold and then try and just keep bending it evenly around that mold, I don't know what it would take from a physics perspective, but you can literally see how far, when you're playing with a product like this NanoRay, how far it will actually go. So how much power it will derive based on its shaft stiffness, not shaft thickness. That's different. So so that is going to help you a lot. So there you go. One broken NanoRay. Sure, my guys will chuck that in the bin. I'm sure some of you out there are probably hating me right now for doing that, but it's all in the name of science, people. Don't freak out, we're all scientists today. Oh my god, look, I got some spare grommets. Probably not. But, so there you go. Also, I've been asked, again, by Mr. Fumio and by Mr. Hachiro? Okay, cool. Great, cool. All these are guys, by the way. No women, because you're saying you're a men's club. You're a men's badminton club? What, no girls allowed? I've never heard of that. Alright, but, you know, I've never been to Japan. One day you'll invite me up and I'll come and have a look at all your technology. I hear it's a great country and the people are really cool. What was your question here? Okay, your question relates to string tension. Okay, string tension's a funny one. I can explain it from a physics perspective, but what you're saying is what will give you more power? Looser strings or tighter strings? The answer is tighter. But you have to understand an equation. You can't just say if I had a couple of guys standing in front of me and they said, oh, my one's looser, it's going to give more power, or my one's tighter, it's going to give more power. That's not how it works, guys. How it works is, I'll do another video on it, and I'll use the whiteboard behind me to do it, because you need to understand a diagram. But all things being equal, if the string is the same, let's say you're using BG65, and you've got a couple of these nano rays, and it's strung to BG65, and it's strung to, let's say, what's an average string? I don't know, 26 pounds. That's an average string for a player. Then you, well, let's say, that's not average to a lot of players. I mean, a lot of beginners and intermediates, you'll probably be hitting somewhere in about sort of between 20 and 24. You think that, you know, you're doing better if you go higher. You can go higher, but there's a problem. You need to understand how to use ratios to hit with higher poundage strings, otherwise it's not going to go anywhere. What's happening is that if I string them both at, let's say, 23 pounds, no, 24, let's make it even, 24 pounds. This two nano rays at 24 pounds, both with BG65, and the shuttle comes in. Let's say you drop a shuttle on them, but the shuttle is heavy, right? And you drop it and you indent them the same. So then what's going to happen is they're both going to bounce back the same. So you need to understand, but if one is looser, right, and you can get more indent into it, then way more indent, then it's going to repel more. So now the distance of the shuttlecock is going to be further. But the other one, which is tighter, is going to give an early response or a quick response. So they're both quick, but the tight one's going to be quicker. So all things being equal, the tension's the same. Sorry, not the tension's the same. The string is the same. The shuttlecock's the same. Everything is, the racket's the same. Even the color's the same. But this one's strung at 24 and this one's strung at 30. So everything the same. This one's tighter. The tighter one will win because it's repelling with more surface tension. It's that simple. If they're both indented, the shuttlecocks are indenting the same way. But if the looser one is indented more, then it's going to repel more. It's going to repel slower, but the distance is going to be more. So you can't just say from a point of view of which is better, looser or light or tighter. The simple answer is that tighter is better, because a badminton player doesn't just want power; he wants control, and badminton is about control. Control at the net, control with the smash, control with your drives, control with your pushes, with your snaps, your backhand smashes, all that sort of thing. Tight is where it's at. Loose is not really from that, but it's a real player. Some players prefer loose, some players prefer tight. Most internationals will go over 30 pounds because they're looking for that crispness, that tightness, and they know what they're doing. For beginners who have no idea and who haven't watched my video, and it's the only video in the world that explains it, guys. So go to MrBackhand.com, I'll leave a link right here, and you can go and download that video, and you can now understand exactly how to use a badminton racket. Because you can go out and you can buy one for $300 and break them like I do, but that's going to be a very costly experiment for you. So in the name of goodwill and science, Mr. Fumio, there it is. Did the shaft break? I'm amazed. I'm amazed the shaft did not break, and it actually broke at the T in the head. I thought that the shaft was going to go, but it didn't. So I will actually do tomorrow for you guys. I'm a bit tired now. I might play tonight, but I'm just getting tired. I've just flown back. I've landed back in my studio. So what happens if I break this open? If I snap it, I wonder where it's going to go. Let's just keep snapping these things and see where they go. Okay, so that's broken there. Let's see if I break another one. Let's see what happens. See how far open it will go. That's right on my thumb. That's where I'm pushing. Okay, I'll try not to push with my thumbs if I can. Oh, it's a bit hard. Shit. Okay, I try not to put pressure like this. I'm trying to sort of even the pressure out. Shit, that won't break. What if I go inwards? Well, there we go. It's on the joint where I'm pushing. So obviously I'm not pushing it evenly. I'm actually trying to sort of push into that corner. Not a very good test, but other than that, you know, it's all in the name of science. Don't worry, people. It's just a bit of carbon to me, and it's good to know these things. So you can go to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe, like, sub, share, and I'm the guy that gives it to you straight. So a badminton coach, if you want to learn how to play badminton and you go and get a coach, you don't get coaches, or you don't hire coaches to tell you how to hit a shuttlecock. You hire coaches generally for tactics and strategy and things of that nature. You need a scientist or a physics guy to actually tell you the physics behind aerodynamics of a shuttlecock and how to actually hit a shuttlecock using physics. Once you know that, then, and you apply the right physics, because you can apply wrong physics to it, and that's what I do. So I'm a badminton physics guy. So it's sort of like badminton 101, really. Shit, the stuff's gone everywhere. You wouldn't believe how much stuff that splintered off. But it's just, Jesus, spiking me in the ass. So there you have it. So that's what I do from a badminton perspective, and from an everything perspective, is that I talk about the physics of what's going on. So and that's it. This is why you guys are all emailing me with these flustered questions, and I understand it, and there's nothing wrong with it. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. If you want to email me, by the way, it's reachjazz, REACH, reachjazz@gmail.com. And all the guys at club call me Mr. Backhand, because I'm just too lazy to go over the head. I can't be bothered. I'm like Torfik. I'm as lazy as hell. I'll just turn and just play a whopping backhand, and I'll just stand in the middle of the court, and I'll make you run around. so that's what's happening. But that's badminton for you. It's a real easy game to play. The backhand is the easiest shot to play in badminton. For some unknown reason, you guys can't do it because your coaches will tell you all sorts of crazy, funny things. You have to know what ratios are. If you do not, you're not going to get it. You're not going to understand it. You're just going to just wonder what the outer circle is versus the inner circle. You're going to wonder, you know, string tensions versus shaft stiffness. Which racket is better? Which company makes it? Don't be sucked in by the brands, for God's sake. Are shuttles different? Well, some are made with goose, some are duck feather, some are plastic. Most professionals will play with goose. Club players will be playing with duck. And, you know, first timers ever picked up a racket before, you'd be hitting with plastic. So, just to have a go. Which is better? Oh, the goose. The goose are far better. But they last longer. Depends on how hard you hit them. But the duck ones are just fine. They'll fly. The goose ones are just a little bit more quality, and that's what they play with in international tournaments. So, duck's just fine to me. What's happening on my videos? You'll see me, you know, play all these backhands and that. The reason why I play a lot of backhands is because it's a backhand channel, and most of you really are struggling with this shot. Most of you can clear, most of you can smash, play around the net for club, but just most of you just cannot. For some unknown reason, you just get a head block, goes to your backhand side, you're like, leave it. But I'm here to help you. So I can assure you, go to MrBackhand.com. That is my site. It's a black site. You'll see the red shuttlecock there and a link saying buy the video. Make sure you put your email in like everybody else, and then my automated system will just send you the link, watch the video, and then you'll just go, and you'll be able to go out there and do it straight away. A lot of national players are watching the video. Internationals have been watching it. They've been emailing me saying this is the coolest thing on earth. Great. I'm glad I could help, guys. From a physics perspective, that's what we do. We try to help sports, and badminton is the second biggest sport in the world, I think. Is that right, or am I wrong? You don't know. Someone Google it for me. Google it. Somebody find it. I think it's maybe top 5. So, I know that football is soccer, or football is number 1. I don't know where badminton sits. It might be top 5, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. It might be number 2. I mean, it's China's national game. You know, how many Chinese are in the world? India's coming along real strong, and things of that nature. So it's looking pretty good. Other than that, I'm getting tired, so I'm going to log off. But there you go, Mr. Fumio and guys from Japan. You wanted to see me do it, so there's that broken racket for you. Sorry, racket was for a good cause. I'll do the video on string tension for you tomorrow on the board, so you can actually see in a diagrammatic form, and you can say, aha, I got it now. But you need to understand the physics behind things, and I try not to put too many X, Y, Z equations into it, because that'll just confuse the shit out of you. You people are human beings, you're not scientists, you're not physics. To me, that's logical, but to you, you won't know what that means. So let me just draw it like in a cartoon form. That way, anyone watching this video can understand it. A 10-year-old kid could understand it. But all things being equal, string tension, this one's tighter, this one's looser, indent the same, rackets the same, everything the same. The tighter one will win. So, but if you indent the looser one more, then the looser one's going to win. So you got to get your terminology right. Is it coming off? Not the power isn't the right word. So you've got power. Is it coming off fast? Fast isn't the right word. The words you want to use are repulsion, early repulsion, and quick repulsion, or slower repulsion. So you have to use your words in the right way to be able to describe it. Otherwise, you're just going to go, hang on a minute, none of this makes sense. Easier if you watch it on YouTube. Difficult if someone's writing it down for you, because you won't be able to picture it in your head. So I'll do a video on this tomorrow and upload it for you on that whiteboard. A lot of you, yeah, most of you who have been downloading the video, thank you very much. And it's just it's a great joy to get your emails. We go through them and read them. A lot of you are just, you know, over the moon, exhilarated, happy, just to have that information in you. A lot of you are now going up in grades from C grade to B grade, or B grade to A grade, or the A grade. Now you're really thumping it super hard, not just hard smashes, but super hard. A lot of you now are changing your rackets to stiffer shafted rackets and tensioning up your strings. Now some people will ask me what I string to. I, at the moment, am stringing to about 36, 37. There's a reason for that, but what happens is, if I could string to 40 pounds, I would. But what happens is that the strings are simply breaking in the machine. You pull it that straight, and the string's going pang. It's because what happens is it cuts through the grommet as you're pulling it, and the grommets start cutting, and it starts cutting into the carbon of the racket, and the string goes. So the grommets really are failing, not the rackets. So once they come up with grommets that can do that, or designs of grommets that can take the curvature of that string going into that little, if I can get this here, this is a grommet, by the way, if you don't know what it is. This little black thing that goes through, and if your grommets, if you have a string of rackets and you have this problem and you're always pulling through, just get the grommet, pull it out, and then just turn it 90 degrees and put it back in. It'll be fresh for you. Once you've strung them twice, that's it. You've got to redo your grommets, otherwise you're just pulling straight back new through the same cut all the time in the grommet, and that's just going to be disastrous for you. So there you go. So come on, Yonex and Prince and all these other companies that go out there and make grommets, try and come up with a plastic that's better, or a better design. So these players can string using the strings they want, the tension that they want, over 30 pounds. I'm at 37. So when you say 37, I think it's 35, 37, because I'll string it generally 2 pounds difference between the mains and the crosses. But if I could string tighter, I would. Also, on the string tension, I'll do a video on whether or not string tension, what it does is as they string tight, it gets slack or when you get it out of the machine for the first time and you run it on the court with it and you hit it straight away, you get this ping, you get this beautiful pinging sound, this power, this instant repulsion, and it feels so instant. And then of course, if you put that racket in your bag for a day or two, the strings inside the racket starts to loosen off. Right, the knots start to undo a little bit, and everything the whole thing starts to become a little bit looser. Now, it won't get that much looser, but it doesn't have that crispy, pingy feel that you once had. So that's why with international tournaments, you get a lot of these guys, like Lindan and all those guys, that will have those rackets strung straight away on the court, put it, and then they'll walk straight onto the court with it and play. And that's why their strings, when the first 10 points, will sound crispy, and then after that, their sound starts coming off a little bit. You're thinking, hell, I don't get it. When I first watched that video, I could swear those strings were sounding crisp, and now as they're playing, the sound drops off. That's because the strings are getting what's called creepage, or they're creeping, or they're slacking off. And as they slack off, the noise changes a little bit. So essentially what they do is they don't care. These guys are sponsored, whatever, they'll just get new strings. They'll have string guys on the side, string the machine, throw the racket to them on court, or put them in their bag, pick up a new racket, and away they go again with that crisp feel. Lee Chong Wei does it all the time. So if you don't understand why that's happening, that's because of that. If you pick up your rackets from a store at maybe on a Monday, you go and play with it on a Wednesday, while it's been sitting in your bag, it's going to get creepage. So even though you strung it at 36 on a Monday, when you pick it up on a Wednesday, it's now down to about 34.5. I'd say 35. So it's going to creep off. It's going to keep creeping until finally you miss at it, you break it, and you go, oh, this feels nice again. And that's what happens. So that's why rackets have what's called creepage. And it happens in all rackets, whether or not you're playing badminton or tennis or squash. What strings am I using at the moment? BG65 or Chalpai 75, something thicker for me, but I go to higher tension. Why do I go thicker? Because the grommet doesn't cut as easy if I was going to use BG80. If I could string tight, would I use BG80? You're damn right. I would use BG80. It's a great string. It's a very common string, and but I like pulling my strings that tight to get that feel, because I'm using TRA 7 to 1. A lot of you are using 6 to 1, 7 to 1, 6.8 to 1. Mr. Fumio, I think I saw one of your smashes. I think you probably about a 6.9. So that was pretty impressive. Now you understand when I'm saying these ratio, what it all means. If you don't, go to MrBackhand.com, download the video, watch it for one time in your life. Coaches, you should all watch this video and then go do it. If you don't watch the video, you're just doing your students a disservice. That's all you're doing. But you've got to understand small circles versus large circles, or ratioed hitting. If you're an engineer, you'd call it gearing. But we don't have gears in badminton. We have what's called ratios, because everything is linear. That's it for now. So we'll see you on another one. But this is Mr. Backhand saying, if I can hit backhands easily, and don't think it's Twitch fiber. Do I look like I've got Twitch fiber in my arms? I eat McDonald's. I drink whiskey. I am the worst. But I have a really good backhand, or monster backhand, because I use what's called ratioed hitting. It's called TRA 7 to 1 ratioed hitting. You need to know what that is. If you don't, well, good luck in the C grade. But if you do, good luck in the A grade. And if you're all watching it and you're all using ratios, then I don't know who's going to win. You're all going to kill each other. So that's it for now. I'll see you on the next one. And so this is Mr. Backhand saying, if I can do it, you guys can do it. You guys can do it. It's easy. All right, fellas. I'll see you on the next one. Like, sub, share.